Dear Derry. Is that too much? Dear Derry. It's kind of sinister, sultry, sort of. No. I mean, Dear Derry. Potato salad. This is potato salad from Wicked Chicken, where I was not too terribly long ago. It seems to have a piece of what I believe is pimento stuck, trapped, if you will, like an earth insect in amber. What's that from? Trapped like an earth insect in amber. It'll come to me. It's gonna bug the hell out of me too. 'Cause I should know. I should know what that is, but I can't think of it. Also, for those of you who've been keeping up with the Let's Get Tren computer fund, a very dear friend of mine, she gave me this piece of popcorn. No, it's not a piece of popcorn. It's just in one of those anti-static bags, because apparently I like rubbing up against things. And it's a hard drive. She said it was like an Enterprise class hard drive, I think. Enterprise something. Which I don't see any warp nacelles on it, so I presume that means something else. But it's a hard drive, so I've got a 500 gig hard drive that is apparently slightly better than the consumer grade. Whatever. I think my current system has a 500 gig hard drive in it, so it has a 500 gig and like a couple of 100 gig drives. Like it's got 3 hard drives in it right now, but I think all combined, if you took all the data that was on all 3 of them and combined them together, it wouldn't quite equal 500 gig. Well, it wouldn't come close to. Well, it would be like 300 and some odd gigs, I think. Suffice to say, I mean, for right now, I use the second hard drive, that which is the D drive, to use that as kind of the Windows swap drive when it does its automated backup crap. I'm going to save an image of the current system exactly as it is, and then next week it does exactly the same thing, but doesn't save over the image that it had before. And so within, like a month or 2, you're like, I don't have any space to do my backups. And it crashes. Well, it doesn't crash, but it freaks out and stops. And you're like, can you just save the last 3 and just whatever. So yeah, there's that. This evening at Chicken, a friend of mine was showing me a story that he's working on, and he said that he would be very much appreciated if I could didn't want tea anyway. If I would consider reading his an excerpt from his story, because he's curious to know what people think about it. And it got me thinking, maybe, instead of doing My Writing Monday, I should do a Writing Wednesday, which some people will think has something to do with birds, but it doesn't. And I could read out some piece of writing. Maybe it's mine, maybe it's somebody else's, or something. I don't know. On Wednesdays, and I'll do something else with Monday. Maybe. It's a very interesting story concept that he asked me to read this evening. The only problem with it was that he asked me to read it during a hockey game. Intermission was fine. I could read parts of it during intermission, but then they started showing highlights from the first period, which I missed, and so immediately, my attention's back on the game, and blah, 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 blah. So don't try to get me to do anything during a hockey game except maybe for watch a hockey game and quite possibly drink beer. Now, for those of you who earlier this evening saw my tweet about Hangar 24, amazing beer. Just so you know, holy crap, amazing, amazing beer. It's really, really cool. There were several guys, because it's practically like it's an 8 college town, because you've got Santa Clara University there, you've got San Jose University, and a lot of guys tend to come over to Chicken on any day of the week. But there were a bunch of guys from the college who came over to Chicken, and they were sitting there. I'm sitting at the bar and I'm watching them, looking at all the different, pull tabs, trying to figure out which one they want. And when I see something like that, it's like when I go over to Blue Rock Barbecue and I see somebody that clearly has never been there before and they're looking at the menu for what is obviously the first time. I feel this compulsion to come up and say, "It's your first time here, isn't it? Let me ask you this. What kind of flavor are you in the mood for? What kind of barbecue do you like with Blue Rock?" I'm like, what kind of flavors do you like? And from that, I will help them figure out what they should order. With these guys, I was like, what kind of beer do you like? And they're like, well, I'm thinking about these two because they're both IPAs. I'm like, well, these two are both IPAs. Yes, this is the 1213, or this is the Best By. They're both made by Stone Brewery. And one was the Best By 121313, and one was the Ruination. Now, they're both by the same brew house. They're both by Stone. They're both IPAs, but the 121313, or the Best By, or whatever they're calling it, it has a much stronger scent of hemp, I guess, but it doesn't have the hops bite that the Ruination does, because the Ruination is just, as a friend of mine would say, it is hoppier than a kangaroo on a pogo stick, which is true unless you're drinking the Hoptimum, which is by a different brewery, I believe. But yeah, because ultimately I had my glass of beer, which was the Hangar 24, which they're apparently in Southern California. And I had tweeted to Will Wheaton and his wife, "Oh my God, if you haven't tried this beer, you need to." And the brewery is much closer to them than it is to me. Awesome. And I'm diverging all over the place, kind of, but not really. And then I had like a small sampler thing of the Best By and then the Ruination, and then this apple ale that they had, which was very, very smooth. It didn't smell of alcohol. Well, it smelled of alcohol just a little bit, but it didn't taste of alcohol. The apple taste of it was like the apple flavor of the Quaker instant oatmeal, the apples and cinnamon, or apples and spice, whichever one it is. Yeah, it's apples and cinnamon and raisins and spice. It's the apples and cinnamon. It's that flavor of apple, but it doesn't have that alcoholic tinge, that bite to it. It's very, very smooth. It was really tasty. So that's enough about alcohol for the evening. One of the main things, it's 8.5 minutes at least of booze. The main thing that I wanted to talk about this evening, which was something that came up earlier today on Twitter from the SETI Institute. I believe they were the ones who made this announcement. That they were talking about the differentiation between the probability, or the way it used to be. It's not quite a paradigm shift, but it is a game changer, between the Kepler Space Telescope stuff and the stuff the Hubble did on the Hubble deep image thing, where Hubble selected an area of the sky that was the size of a grain of sand at arm's length, just black. And they focused the Hubble there for 10 days and took in everything they could. And when they examined the images that had been compiled from that, they discovered thousands of galaxies in that tiny little speck. Not just stars, galaxies. Way the hell out there. And I'm like, okay, so the chances that life is out there, whether it's like us or not, it is far more likely than not that it's there. Whereas we used to think that it was a virtual improbability that life, such as we know it, or intelligent life, was out there. Now, it seems far, far more likely that, yeah, probability is that, yeah, there has got to be something else out there. Because, I mean, damn. Anyway, but it kind of got me thinking. Sort of. It got me thinking about video games in particular. Like with Lost in Space, the movie that they made with all those people. I've had a fair bit of beer tonight, so it's difficult for me to remember names. The guy who played Joey, he was in it, and he was playing Major West. And Gary Oldman as Dr. Smith. Very well done, Dr. Smith. Pretty much everybody else, I know there was a Hurd in there. Jonathan, I think. Hurd, Michael, Hurd, John, George, Paul, Ringo, somebody, Hurd thing. In the movie. Anyway, he was in there. Anyway, that and Eve and Firefly and, you know, all these space games and motifs and whatnot, or would that be motifs? Anyway, so many of them are focused on, you know, we got to the point where the Earth couldn't support us anymore because our population had grown so dense that we didn't have the wherewithal to maintain ourselves anymore, and we had to expand. Okay, by that theory, you could use the Matrix too. I'm sorry, the Matrix also. We just spread to another area. Star Citizen is very much the same way. Earth is practically spent, completely spent. It's there is no way to maintain the population such as it is with the resources that we have at hand on the planet. There are billions upon trillions of megatons of resources brought in all the time because there's just nothing left. There's nothing left in the system to maintain us, but we just won't give up on the Earth because it is the cradle of civilization. And that's why Terra, which is a totally separate planet from Earth in Star Citizen, when they started, you know, colonizing it, they made very careful steps to keep civilization and nature in balance, that they didn't unnecessarily tax the resources and everything. They could keep the woodland areas pristine. They didn't overshoot themselves and whatnot. And it made me think, with our current level, because one of the things in the article that I read today about the Hubble Deep Image and the Kepler program and everything, about finding, you know, the fact that it is far more probable that life is definitely out there. One of the big things was trying to spark this interest, this fascination, this drive, especially in Americans, to take a really deep interest in space and, you know, studying, you know, astrophysics and, you know, all sorts of stuff to get people interested in the space program and funding the space program. And this made me wonder, why? I mean, how stupid, and I mean in the most literal sense, how catastrophically stupid would it be for us to wait until, you know, our resources were strained to start reaching out to other planets, to other asteroids or whatnot? Why not start now? Develop the research and the technologies now to start reaching out and saying, are there usable resources here, before we've got to a point where we have to scrape together whatever we can to try to get one ship somewhere that we hope maybe there might be resources that we could possibly use if we can get them back here. Maybe. What the hell? Don't wait. Don't wait, people. If you're in school, if you're at all good with math, I'm not good with math. Look into the sciences. Oh, God, please look into the sciences. Don't wait for, death to be like, hey, I'm looking for is there a Gene Luck Pickard here? I know that was Q, shut up. Point being, don't wait. Do not wait. Start the exploration now. Now. While we have the resources to do it, before we've used most of them up and we have nothing left to work with. Please. Bitte. 16 and a quarter minutes. All right? There. That's my thing for the day. We'll call it, the hell are you talking about Thursday? I don't know. Or, thrusters ahead Thursday. That just sounds wrong. Let's not go with that. Suffice to say, go do your thing. All right. And even if you're not good at math, find somebody who is good at math. Keep them focused on the space race. Have them follow Bobak, the Mohawk guy from the Mars Curiosity mission. Have them follow him on Twitter. A, holy crap, is he smart. B, holy crap, is he an awesome guy. Great sense of humor. He loves games. Really cool guy. Is it B or, is it C or 3 that why am I asking you? C, 3, B-O. Really good looking. Oh my God. Don't tell him I said that. All right. So here we go. 17 and a half minutes. Go fly. Be free. Go study math and shit. Okay? Bye. Be careless.